It's July 3rd. Happy July 3rd, everyone. Happy July 4th, really, because today we observe Independence Day. Welcome. I wanted to just get on here and just share a little bit about my journey. The podcast is up for today, Flashpoint Friday. We have the podcast up, and today is all about personal declaration. It's a huge part of this journey that I'm on. And as I said earlier today, I just want to thank each and every one of you that have followed this. I trust that you draw some inspiration from this to sprinkle some into your story. Trust that this will provoke you, stoke you, encourage you, lift you up, make you think about that decision, your next best decision in your life, the one that you want to make in your best interest, albeit a very challenging time right now. And I want to give you something today. I want to give you something that helped me, and I know it's going to help you. When I used this, it wasn't as formalized. So I trust this is going to really lift you up today. And I want to go through a couple concepts about your life dream, following a higher aspiration, even when it may not feel right now. It may not feel right. It may seem difficult because of all the stuff that's happening right now, right? I mean, with the COVID-19 and everything that's going on, and I'm just trying to share this. So let me know how you are. Let me know where you're listening in from, and let me know that if this is something that, or if there's a topic that you want me to specifically bring up. But I want to go through about the timing. 1 year ago today, I walked away from my 19-year position. That was 1 year ago. Today was my official last day on the books. And I want to share with you about that journey and what that was like emotionally, and making that decision was difficult. It was a very difficult decision, but it was something that I didn't just wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to just quit. I think I'm just going to quit my job today. It wasn't like that, right? And on today's podcast, I share about that. I share with you the process that goes into that. And there's a really specific thing, and it's actually called personal declaration. So that was something that I go into detail on the personal declaration side, and what that's like to be able to write something down and that you want to see perhaps in your future, right? So let me just honor everyone today who's on here for this lunchtime. It's the day before July 4th. And 1 year ago today, I was my last official day for my 19-year position. And I just wanted to get on here and just say thanks to everyone, and just maybe go through a couple things that might resonate with you, whether you're getting this live or you're getting it on the playback. So one of the things that happened in the journey was I wrote down a personal declaration about my intentions, about what I wanted to do, the life that I wanted to create. And it wasn't easy to write that, and I go into that in the podcast, and I'll share that the link in here today. So the first thing is, it's never the right time. It is never the right time to make the decision, to make a life-changing decision. You may say, and what I mean is, like, you might be waiting for a sign. Hey, Robert, how are you? Welcome, brother. You may be waiting for a sign to make your big life move, right? And you will find that you'll be waiting, and you'll be waiting, and you'll be waiting. There's never the right time to make the decision. What I found is that when you get into action, all of a sudden you start to get the signs. You know what I'm talking about, Robert? I know you do with your brand and what you're doing, and helping a lot of entrepreneurs through Magnetic Entrepreneur. You've been out there, and it's been an honor to be a part of your book. That's another thing that happened in the journey here was I was able to team up with Robert and co-author a book, and it went bestseller and through the Magnetic Entrepreneur brand, and that was an honor to be a part of that as I prepare to write my book here by the end of the year. So there's things that happen along the journey that you can't fully know until you get into action. And a lot of times we sit and we wait because we wait for the right time, and there's never the right time. It's never the right time to make the life change. But I think is like, what do you most need? Like, I think for me, it was about dialing into my heart. It was about connecting to the deeper part of myself, and then taking action from that point. because there's a lot of pressure to be a certain way and to act a certain way and to do a certain thing, and it can turn into the money grab. And you want to stay true to yourself and realize that you can follow your purpose, you can follow your dreams, and then eventually start to build an economic engine around it. But it doesn't happen overnight. But what I want to share with you is, if you're not moving forward and you feel stuck, there's a reason for that. Would you agree with that? If you're not moving forward, or you're not moving forward at the level that you want, would you agree that there's a reason for that? Me personally, I dealt with the underlying belief that I couldn't measure up, right? That was the story that I was telling myself, that I wouldn't measure up. So it took me a long time. It took me a longer road to get here. But it's no less valuable. As a matter of fact, it's more valuable, because a lot of people don't take action in their best interest, and they take the long road, and they end up maybe never doing it at all. And I don't want that. Like, I don't want that for you. I know that it's possible. I know that it's possible. And so, to go back to number one, there's never the right time. Number two is, you may say, what can I do? Well, you can create. You can start to create. And that's one of the things that I did when I go back. I wrote a personal declaration about what I was going to stand for, what my life was going to be about. And I go through that in the podcast today. Let me share that podcast link with you now, so I make sure that you get it. Let me just grab the link here. Of course, I got text messages flying in right now. Let me grab this link, and I want to share this with you right now, because I want you to, this is the podcast. I'm going to be posting that later. I go more into the detail about this, about the personal declaration, and how you can start to create today, as early as today. It's July 3rd. You know, we're observing the birthday of freedom for America. So back in 2014, I wrote a personal declaration about what I wanted to have happen. And, you know, from 2014 to 2019, when I finally made the decision, there was no sign. I mean, there was things that happened, but if you're waiting for a sign, this is your sign. Like, this is it. You clicked on here, this is your sign right now. It's never the right time to do the right thing. And it's always the right time to do the right thing, but it's never the perfect time to change your life. It's never going to be perfect to make that big life decision. And what you want to start to do is start to carve out that time for you. So the second thing I wrote down is create. And that's the declaration, your goals, and more importantly, the feelings around that. The feelings, because a lot of times you'll think about something that you want to do, but because you're not taking action on it, your emotions will drop. And the second your emotions drop, you're out. You got to bring your emotions back up. And so that can be unconscious, but I want to pull you into the conscious process, where you start to write a declaration down, and then what happens is action starts to flow from there. So life change can happen. It can happen quickly. It can happen quickly as our ability to make a decision that I will never accept this again, that I want to move toward this. For me, I wasn't coming from a place that I'll never accept this again. Mine was coming from a place of purpose. I knew that there was more that I could do. I knew that I had a purpose. I knew that I had a call that I wanted to answer. And I will get criticized, ridiculed, whatever, for doing this, whatever. But that was the decision that I wanted to make. And I just want to share with you, like, when I walked away, when I left a year ago, I was doing very well. I was doing very well financially, and there was a road for me to follow there. Like, it wasn't the end of the road. It wasn't like, hey, you're out. You know, we want you to leave. I chose to leave because I was pulled by purpose, not pushed by pain. That's a big distinction there. I want you to get that. So, and for every single one of us, we have a purpose, and we can be pushed. We can be pulled by purpose. We don't have to be pushed by pain. Many of us are pushed by pain. We wait. And there's a there's a and there's reasons why, and I want to honor your journey. If you feel stuck, I want to offer you. We created the 9 questions to identify and remove limiting beliefs. So you got the podcast right there. That's today. It's all about your personal declaration in line with the Declaration of Independence. We have 9 questions to identify and remove limiting beliefs. I'm going to put the link in for that. You can get that. So this way, if you want to start your journey, it starts with one step. It just starts with one action. That's it. One action. And it doesn't have to be you're reinventing the wheel overnight. So let me just grab this link for you. And I want to share this with you because these were tools. I didn't use this tool specifically when I went on my journey, but I used tools like this to help understand what was holding me back. Why was I not moving forward? Why was I feeling stuck? Because I wasn't moving forward. I wasn't progressing. I had outgrown where I was. I needed to grow. And there's a saying that says you need to grow or you need to go. So I kind of did both. I needed to grow, so I decided to go, you know. But your journey is going to be unique to you. Would you agree? Your journey is going to be unique to you. And if you feel like all this pressure, like let the pressure go. You don't need to put all that pressure on yourself. You just need to start to create. You just need to start to carve out the way. There's a path. There's a way. There's a way for you to do it. And you know, if I impact one person through this video, one person. If I impact one person, let me know. I'll be happy with that. That my story, you know, could impact you. Time does go. Time moves. For some people, you might be going 19 years. I was at my job for 30 years. And there's nothing wrong with a job, by the way. Like, I'm not saying everybody should quit their job. But what I'm saying is, if you know there's something that's been tugging at you, can you create it? Can you do it? Can you make a change? And I want to say you can. You absolutely can. And even in the midst of this, you can. You can make that necessary change. And so what I've done is got a couple tools here to give you. The podcast link is there. You can click on that and listen to that today. It's one of the things I did back in 2014. I was in Boca Raton. So I'm at Boca Raton. I'm at a Tony Robbins event. And I had my very first journal, not very first journal. Well, yeah, it was the very first journal that I had written down a declaration. And that declaration unfolded. But it wasn't overnight. And that's what I talk about in the podcast. So you can listen to that podcast today. It's called Personal Declaration. And tomorrow's a declaration, where the Declaration of Independence was brought into existence. And if you want to just grab something from that, what if they never wrote the Declaration of Independence? Like, what if it was never written? Do you think they just would walk around and say, "Hey, we're free. We're free. We're the colonies. We're free. Yay!" No. It would, like, they had to get pen to paper. They had to etch it. They had to write it down. What about you? What about your personal declaration? I want to encourage you to write it down. I want to encourage you to listen to the podcast today. And write down your personal declaration. It may not change tomorrow, but it might. But it'll definitely change over time. But it starts with making a declaration about what you want for your life, what you're no longer willing to accept, and what you want to create. Stephen Covey said there's 2 creations. There's the mental creation, the imagination. Albert Einstein said imagination is more important than intellect, but we don't spend enough time there because we spend time in logic and what society teaches. We got to know the answers. We got to know 1, 2, 3. We got to know ABC all the time. We got to know, we got to know, we got to know. Meanwhile, are we stifling the thing that got us here, which is our imagination? Great men and women who have created, great men and women who have declared that things are going to be different. We can do that for ourselves. We can declare a new way of living. We can declare more love in our life. We can declare more progress in our life in the right areas. We can declare that we're going to be healthier. we can declare that we're going to love our neighbor better. We can declare that we're going to follow our purpose, our highest aspirations. But we're going to carve out our journey. So there should be no pressure around this. If you feel any pressure, let the pressure go. It's not pressure, it's progress. It's not pressure, it's progress. When you start to progress, you will feel it instantly. You will feel it instantaneously. And so it's never the right time. I'm going to bring this to a close. It's been 19 years for me at the last job. Worked at the same company for 19 years. And 1 year ago, today, was my last day. Lots of emotion around that. Lots of lessons. Lots of relationships. Lots of great things on my journey that I will always be grateful for. But that was a previous version of myself. And like Jim Rohn says, the first grade desks are small, so you can't stay there anymore. You need to grow. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you're in that first grade desk, metaphorically speaking, and you're like, I need to grow, then we need to do that. We need to start working on that. Don't sit cramped, stifled. If you're in that desk and you're like, I need to grow, it's time to grow. And if you're see, sometimes we feel the pain and suffering of staying where we are, but there's a reason why we stay there. We don't move forward. So what I want to, if I could go through the computer, just get these 9 questions, get the 9 questions, because one of the things that, like, the limiting beliefs are hiding. It's like they're hiding behind the curtain, kind of pulling us back, telling us we can't do it. So the 9 questions right here, it's key to start the process. What are the blocks? Even right now, I ask myself, what are the blocks? What's preventing me from getting to the next level that I know I need to progress to? What's stopping it? Am I getting in my own way? And listen, we all get in our own way, but I don't stop, coming in front of you with valuable information, because it's what I'm learning. Like, I'm going through it too. So what is stopping you from taking your next step? But the next step that's easy to take is to get the 9 questions. It's to listen to the podcast and begin the journey. Begin the journey. Let it start to unfold for you. There's no reason why everyone in earshot of this there's 1,000 reasons, 1,000,000 reasons why you can do this. Right? But all you need is one. All you need is one good reason. And this all started with a personal declaration for me. Wrote it down, and then 5 years later, 5 years later, I resigned. And today was the last day of my journey. So I just want to invite you to listen to the podcast, grab the 9 questions, and I'm here. Like, I want to work with you. If you're in midlife, or you want to make a transition, or you want to find out what your skills are, definitely reach out. And we're here. We're here to help you grow. We're here to help you move forward. And as I say, this is about getting free, staying present, and moving forward. So I want to thank everyone again who's been a part of the journey, and thank you for clicking on and listening to this today, and I wish you a wonderful day. Blessings, everyone.